many businesses, I think, get worried, well, when's the next customer going to come in the door? And Alex, what you do for me, as well as then the clients you're working with, is we don't run with fear in mind, and we're not running with, well, then anybody that walks through the door, I guess we better work with them because what are we going to do to keep the lights on? What you're talking about putting together in this focus and this promotion is then, I say, kind of whittling down what doesn't matter to me, whittling off the time wasting efforts, removing things that people don't really want from you, right? So what does that really look like? I'm going to give you a simple example that Alex helped me with, is that with the tax consulting group, I did it in 21, 22, 23, and 24. But when I went into 25, he said, JJ, you provide these seminars, and there is a market for that. You're doing it live and you do it online. But those that would want to join your group, that's not why they're joining. They're joining because they want the camaraderie, they want the access, they want the information. And here's what it really boils down to. They want the opportunity to be with you on a regular basis, to enjoy what we just said, and have questions answered. And instead of you guessing and spending all this time, meaning me, on doing seminars, which you may put together the best seminar, but really the group that showed up probably enjoyed listening to you and thought you had some great ideas, but it didn't meet them where they were. And so what Alex did for me is he wiped away, whittled away the things that I was spending so much time and effort on and putting everything into to try and put together a great seminar 1 to 2 times a month for this group. And really what people wanted was a Q&A. And so I was actually able to very easily and appropriately charge a higher price point. I dare say 150% more. In the past, it was, $1,000 a year. It's at $2,500 a year right now. And the way Alex has presented it is that as we grow and the value increases of the camaraderie in the group, I'll be able to charge more, and not charging more just because I can. But Alex has really shown, here's what people value, and therefore that's what you should be providing to them. And if it's what they value, then they'll pay accordingly for it. Because what I love about Alex is he's not just here to show you how to be a millionaire, because all of that will come and you can't do it overnight. And what comes with that success is being able to enjoy what you're doing and have peace. And here's the biggest thing that you brought to the table. And I remember I was in a little bit of a crisis mode, and I was in Seattle, and this was last December. And I had a seminar today that we were wrapping up. We did one the next day. We were going to go live, and I was just exasperated and had a little bit of a health hiccup. And I just said, Alex, I don't know that I can do what it is that we're talking about doing. And the visit that we had in about 5 minutes, because I'm able to interact with you, especially with the kind of relationship that we have professionally, was on the immediate. And it wasn't that you were getting me off the floor because I was in the fetal position sucking my thumb, but it was you immediately were able to kind of clap your hands, so to speak, to immediately refocus in me. And then it made all the difference. And from there, it was like a big release that allowed me to go into this year to have the success that I'm having and enjoying what I'm doing again and enjoying the groups. I know that I just talked a lot, y'all, and I want you to hear from Alex. But the thing is that by you having a consult yourself with Alex to visit about what you would like to see what he can do for you is where the power is. And I know that we'll have a seminar that we'll have at some point. We're going to be spending time together one-on-one. You'll be able to see some of that. And so with that, I'm being a little protective of Alex. I'm just going to be honest with you, in the sense I don't want him to give it all away, because at the same time, he can't really give anything away unless he's able to visit with you. So with everything that I just said there, Alex, kind of what would you add to that for somebody that's kind of like, well, what do I do next? And I heard JJ and I love his story, but how does that apply to me? And am I where JJ is? And could I do what JJ, the CPA, is doing? Does that actually fit for me?
I feel like as I've matured in business, what you said is getting more and more prevalent in terms of the 80-20. Everything in life and business seems to be 80-20. It's 80% of what we focus on. it has no result or has very little result, but we spend so much time on it. And then the 20% that drives 80% of the actual results that we want. But I think sometimes people, like you mentioned, they're so fearful of making the shift to say, you know what, these 20% of my clients, maybe you love working with real estate investors, or you love working with wealth management firms, or maybe you love working with everyday business owners or whoever. You just need to lean into that. But like you mentioned, so many people, they're scared because they're like, well, I have other clients, they've been with me for 10 years. And even though they're a headache and they pay so little and they always extend, and I still need to work with them. And at a certain point, it's not necessarily a logical issue. It's a limiting belief in most entrepreneurs' minds. I mean, everything about business is also somewhat 80-20. 80% of the growth that entrepreneurs have is really starting with, do they believe that it's possible? Are they just coming up with challenges and blockades on why they can't grow? Or are they looking at opportunities? Are they building a vision? So, same thing with what you're saying. So many people can easily make the shift. And then once they make the shift, double down on it and start marketing, start promoting to that ideal client, saying, hey, I am the CPA for real estate investors with 100 to 500 units. Or I am the CPA for people that have offshore trusts, or whatever the case may be. Leaning into that, don't lean away from your strengths, because some people have weaknesses. Like we all have weaknesses that, instead of trying to make those mediocre, because if it's a weakness, it'll never be something that you're outstanding at. We all have those few things that we could do 7 days a week for free, whether it's making videos, whether it's talking to clients. Some people love doing the returns, but you have to lean more into the 80-20. Lean into your strengths, double down on those, triple down on those, and leave the weaknesses behind and or delegate them, if they're, let's say, technology or marketing or strategy, to someone like me. And then you could just do what you do better than anybody else.
And the reality of what you just said there is, most of us don't have that voice right here telling us really what we need to hear, not what we want to hear, but what we need to hear. And the reasoning for that is that over here, and I talk about this in my videos quite a bit, is you have family, but they have different needs from you. And it's not even necessarily selfish, but they need things from you. Then you have employees that need things from you, and you have customers, and you have vendors, and then you're just trying to run a business, and all of a sudden it's just all this noise. And what you're doing is looking right, focused in on them. But who of us as small business owners have somebody here? And even if it's not to make us look left, it's to keep us looking forward, right? And this is Alex right here, right? We've got all the things that are keeping us, I don't even want to say distracted, just busy, and all the things that we've got to do. But with Alex, it's more about, what is it that you need to do, you want to do to be successful. And success is what I would say Alex has brought to me, but the biggest success is time and freedom. And here's the deal. Most of us become business owners. Why? Because we want to do things on our own time, and we want the freedom to do the things that we want. And then when we look up with our success, we find we have very little time, and technically we don't have a lot of freedom, in terms of we feel stuck. And so what Alex has put together is a way to, and I want to say quickly, and I don't mean it as in quickly that, you solved it and you're gone. I mean, I want you to think of it as, if somebody has been able to help you understand how to move a mountain, you still got to move the mountain, right? But once you see how to do it and you buy in and you understand really how easy it can be, then you've got to have someone basically working with you to stay focused. Because the biggest thing when I talk with Alex is, I've got, because this is part of being JJ the CPA, I got the next idea, and well, I could do this, and well, what if I did that? And the best thing that Alex is telling me is what I've told him, but then what he's told me. And when we put it together, what is that? What we talked about in the beginning, and it's focus. It's about a focus, because when we're laser focused on anything, whether it's our kids or somebody in sports or whatever, When we're focused in, then that's actually where we find, this wonderful book, Good to Great. What are we good at? What do we get to make money off of? What do people want? But here's what Alex brings to the table on top of the Good to Great, okay? Which is what are going to change lives starting with mine. So you put all of this stuff together, and as a business owner, you know probably what makes you money, even though you're doing probably a lot of things like me in the past that don't really make you money. You know what makes money. You know who wants it, right? You know what you're passionate about. But now to add a layer of how to change your life, and then that ultimately leads to changing your customer's life, depending on the kind of business, that you're in. That's where then the focus comes in, and you are not that tempted to look right, because once you know your focus, you already know where the noise is and you already know what to focus in. And so, Alex, with this, I know we were kind of getting together today. I know we're going to be doing some other things in the future, and we didn't have a ton of time. I'm actually getting ready to see you here in a few weeks. So we've got some other things to roll out, potentially live and in person together and as a webinar. And so we're going to have some other opportunities for you to hear from Alex. But really what it is that I want you to trust me on is, if this is at all speaking to you, if this is at all something that you have felt some relief, or you're dreaming of relief, or you're wondering, could he? Then that's when you just need to trust your instincts and just simply book a consult with Alex. And you know that you can trust me, so you know you can trust Alex. And if you don't know who JJ the CPA is, well, I'm a CPA, and I'm, in the sense, have to tell you the truth. I lose my license, Alex, if I don't tell people genuine information. And I never in my entire 33 got on a video, got on a seminar, gone to the public and said, I want you to meet. And that was you, Alex. I mean, that says a lot in the sense of, as a CPA, and how protective of I am, not only of my clients, my friends, of course, family, but then whether you want to call them followers or subscribers or fans, I dare say, I've always been protective of that. And so I think you know that if a CPA is recommending something to you, a certified public accountant, then you can trust it. Then what's next is up to you. So I would just want you to give an opportunity to change your life.
No, that really means a lot. No, thank you so much, because everything, as I've started to grow in business, everything is, as you mentioned, reputation and trust. So it's not just mine. Let's say when I work with a client and I can say, hey, I'm going to help you accomplish X, Y, and Z, or I really feel like that's possible. It's also putting your trust and reputation with, as you mentioned, your clients, your license, and your audience. So I really appreciate that. That really does mean a lot, and all the kind words that you have to say about me. And hopefully this is just the beginning. We have many years to work together, and of course with your son as well. And so I really appreciate you taking the time, and I'll definitely see you in a few weeks.
And look forward to it. And boy, lots to come, a lot of exciting things, because we're going to be working with Cooper, my son, and he's the fourth generation. And here's the thing, what
Wow.
we're going to be doing with him, Alex is going to be guiding my son in his early 20s, 30 years before I met Alex, if you will. So I can't even imagine where Coop's going to be when he's my age, having the opportunity to work with Alex from the beginning. And I want you to hear that as the biggest endorsement. I trust Alex with my son, which is the future of my family, fourth generation in the tax profession. Couldn't get more personal than that in terms of the trust that I have in Alex. So with that, sure appreciate you tuning in. Look forward to seeing you soon and at a future seminar. And maybe one of these days, Alex, we might even see some of these folks that we're getting together and playing around together, or having dinner together. And I'm talking about those that are a part of what we're talking about putting together, because that's the beauty of what you do. It's not just about the one and done, a little bit of time and effort. What you put together is as genuine as it comes, and consider you a friend. So with that, Alex, any final words?
No, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on. And no, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you gained some value, and we'll talk soon.
See you then.